Hey guys, how the hell are you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about the interesting situation with Nintendo. They just celebrated their 4-year period, their 4th year anniversary. We got a lot of rumors about a upcoming Super Nintendo Switch Pro model coming out. Nintendo has not directly confirmed it. They've all but confirmed it. There's been reports for the last 2 years about it. But the president, Shuntaro Furukawa, actually made some comments in a recent interview about the Nintendo Switch's hardware, its lifespan, and its potential future, and what they have in store for it. It's still very vague. Again, Nintendo likes to keep its secrets. They never really reveal too much. They've always been this way. They've all but confirmed a Switch Pro, which we think, for the most part, it's coming. And with this state of gaming, how the industry is growing technologically wise so incredibly fast, the Switch is already very close to being obsolete compared to its rivals, the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X. So we're going to read this article. This is from Kotaku. It's a couple days old, but it's still really relevant to the situation. Provides some amazing insight to some stories that we've read recently. So if you are not subscribed yet, why don't you click that subscription button, guys? Jesus Christ. No, I'm just joking. All right, so here we go. Nintendo talks about the Switch's lifespan. So the Nintendo Switch was launched on March 3rd, 2017. We just celebrated it as it passes the 4-year point. Nintendo President Shuntaro Furukawa, hopefully I said that right, discusses the hardware and its lifespan in a new interview with Nikkei Business. So this is a Japanese publication. He goes on to say, for our company, it's a big topic what we should do next when a console passes its 5th year and the hardware's life cycle is in the process of getting longer. Furukawa explained. The exec added that great care is given to Switch owners who are continuing to use the console. And just this holiday season, there has been a lot of new Switch owners. The Switch absolutely crushed it during the holidays. And I still know people that are still on the fence about buying a Switch because they're like, well, if I buy a Switch now and a Switch Pro comes out, I'm going to be very angry. So there's a huge base of gamers out there that are still new to the world of the Nintendo Switch. Sure, it's not a PS5. Sure, it's not a Series X, but there's a lot going on for the Nintendo Switch. It's selling like hotcakes. I think it might surpass the Wii as best console ever for Nintendo as far as sales go. I think they just cleared about 80 million. It's not out of the realm that they will hit 100 million eventually within the next year or two. It's quite possible. Plus, with killer games like Animal Crossing, which sold phenomenally. You got the 3D All-Stars, 3D World. You got Age of Calamity. I mean, they had a lot of really good titles that debuted #1 on the charts everywhere, and to this day are still doing well. I mean, like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. That game came out 4 years ago. It's still in the top 10. So the Switch has a very good lifespan so far, and a lot of gamers that haven't played it yet. For it being an inferior product, it's doing pretty good for itself. Now, this goes on to say, Nikkei Business did not ask the exec about the recent Switch redesign rumors, but the interview does shed light into how Nintendo develops new hardware and the company's approach to innovation. The publication did point out that depending on how things are handled, the console's lifespan could get even longer. And there's been a lot of talk about the console's lifespan extending beyond just the average, thing like that. Nintendo has plans for it. Technically, if it is a Switch Pro, like an upgraded Switch model, it still falls into the whole lifespan of the Switch because it's still a Switch model, kind of like the 3DS and the new Nintendo 3DS and the 3DS XL, like different iterations. It was still considered a 3DS. It was still the lifespan of the 3DS. So if an upgraded Switch came out, it wouldn't be a next-gen console. It would be an upgraded Switch, if that makes any sense. So he goes on to say that's correct. Regarding the Switch's lifespan, I often say that it's entered its middle phase or so. He explained that because the Switch can be played as a traditional home console and as a portable, there are a lot of possible games. We are able to lengthen the life cycle. Furukawa was asked about development timeframes for hardware. To which he replied, "We are always doing R&D. According to Furukawa, the hardware and software dev teams are in the same building and are in close communication. Therefore, they're able to come up with new ideas and proposals. Because you must do all sorts of various preparations to make one new console, the truth is you cannot stop. Ultimately, the deciding factor as to whether or not something becomes an actual product is whether or not it creates a new experience." And that's the other thing that I wanted to bring to attention. Does Nintendo need to do something else? You know, I think the Switch is going to be their standard as far as what features their consoles will have in the future. The hybrid model is unique. It's different. People like it. There's no reason to take it away with the next console. So I think going forward, we're just going to see an upgraded Switch version, and they're going to run with that as long as they could, which is not a bad idea. If it's not broken, don't fix it, in my most humble opinion. Now, this goes on to say, but even though the first few years of the Switch have been wildly successful, Furukawa isn't complacent. Currently, the Switch's sales are exceedingly favorable, and achievements are also good, but I have zero peace of mind, he said. No matter the hits in the entertainment business, people someday do lose interest. Up until now, we have repeatedly had the experience of our business taking a nosedive. So yeah, like, I mean, you think about the Wii U days, that definitely took a hit. You know, the Wii U definitely took a hit at one point. He continues to say, because of this, I myself, as well as those within the company, do not at all think the current state of affairs will keep going and going. For Furukawa, he believes that every single year is a do-or-die situation. You must give new customers fresh surprises, and our existence can slip into obscurity at any time. I've always had this kind of sense of crisis. That's a good, you know, a good way of looking things, keeping your business on its toes and stuff like that. I haven't really looked too much into their current president, but it seems like he's doing an A-OK job. Again, the Switch is doing pretty good for what it is. But I personally feel they need to do an upgrade. They need to. They can still make it the Switch, the Super Nintendo Switch, whatever you want to call it. Make a new, more powerful version of the Switch. Have it be able to at least, you know, maybe not 100% compete against the PlayStation 5 or the Series X, but at least have it where developers will be enticed to develop games for it. So we can see some of the major third-party and AAA games come over. You know, sometimes I just feel the Switch is just, it has the potential to be so much better and utilized a lot better than what it currently is. And I would like to see them try something different. Keep the hybrid model, but let's go nuts with it. That's just my thoughts. Anyways, guys, let me know what you guys think. Comment down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you guys on the next one. You have a great day.